There, this is Dr. Rita Marie Loscalzo back again for another short video for holistic health and nutrition practitioners. And this time we're going to be talking about something that is just really close to my heart and something that I have come up with and branded and use very specifically with my clients. And it's something that I'd like to share with you so that you can really become effective in assessing and developing protocols to help your clients get in balance. So it's understanding the functional hierarchy for restoring balance to even your most difficult clients. And it'll be really clear in a little while what I mean by a functional hierarchy. So remember, we talked in the last video about those complex health challenges that get us really scared and make our hair stand on edge and we don't know what to do. Well, we're going to work through a strategy that I use to prioritize the imbalances in their body and work with them in such a way that we get the best results. Before I go into that, what I want to do is just review a little bit about what I mean when I talk about functional medicine or functional nutrition. What functional medicine is not is prescriptions, handing out bottles of pills, drugs to suppress people's symptoms. And it's also not about just handing people bottles of supplements. A lot of people practice functional medicine and believe that it's a matter of handing people bottles of supplements. What I consider functional medicine and functional nutrition is a series of assessments that help you to really target in and hone in on what the root cause is of your client's problem. And that may include, as we said in the first video, the forms, the scorecards, labs, exams, all of these things would be considered the functional assessments. And then we have the approach for bringing things into balance. And like I said before, it's not about giving somebody a bottle of pills, whether it be drugs or supplements. It's a matter of an integrated approach. So we're going to be prescribing diet and exercise and thoughts and movement and all kinds of things, the bounty of nature, fresh whole foods and specific nutrients when needed to bring things into balance. So it's really important that you build your toolkit in such a way that you can approach things from a functional perspective instead of a black and white, sick or not sick perspective that then just looks at suppressing symptoms. So we talked a little bit before about the hormone families, and I just want to share with you how interrelated they are. There's connections between the families, between sleep and digestion and metabolic rate and organs and blood sugar and reproduction and sleep and reproduction. And there's just a really complex maze of interactions, and this is just part of it. Now, do you have to memorize all these? No, I'm going to give you really specific ways when I teach my nutritional endocrinology programs that you can remember all this, and then you remember it in hierarchies and in families that make it all make sense. So these are the families of hormones that we deal with when we're talking about nutritional endocrinology and combining functional medicine and functional nutrition with endocrinology, meaning the study of the hormones. So there's lots of connections. So let's take a look at my functional hierarchy. I absolutely love this. What I've found is that if you don't work through things in your client in a specific order, then oftentimes you don't get the results you expect. So let's look at what that order is. So you're going to be doing some assessments, whether they're forms that they check out or exams or labs, and you're going to determine things that are out of balance. If you determine the digestion has some imbalances, even if the digestion is not the top priority or they're presenting symptoms, if you ignore the digestion and jump right to their presenting symptoms, you're not going to get the results because the foods that they're eating are not going to nourish their body because their body can't break it down and can't get the nutrients absorbed into the system. Next, we want to look at their blood sugar. Why? Because blood sugar affects everything. When the blood sugar is out of balance, the other glands get out of balance. The thyroid is out of balance. The adrenals, it affects the digestion. It affects sleep. It affects their immune system. So it's really important after you look at the digestion or concurrently that you also look at blood sugar. And if blood sugar is out of balance according to your assessments, even if they don't present saying I have blood sugar imbalances, that's the next piece to address. The next piece that I like to address is the adrenals, the family of hormones responsible for your stress response. And in our modern society where there's so much stress from a financial standpoint, a family standpoint, physical standpoint, the food, the water, the environment, the body is constantly dealing with a barrage of stress. So if as you're doing your assessments and either your digestion and blood sugar are not out of balance, or they are, but you've brought them into balance or are working on bringing them into balance, the next piece you have to look at is the stress response and the adrenals. Because if you move on down to trying to get their sex hormones in balance when their digestion, blood sugar, and adrenals, or one of these at least, is out of balance, you're not going to have such good success. The next piece, super, super important, is the thyroid gland. And the thyroid controls metabolic rate. And if you've got the digestion, blood sugar, and adrenals under control or in the process of getting them under the control, and you have a thyroid issue, don't move on and try to get the sex hormones fixed yet. Don't try to get their immune system in balance, although you're going to have to, if you have a thyroiditis, Hashimoto's kind of condition, work with the thyroid and the immune system at the same time. But these are the hierarchies. These are my top 4. When I go into what my 5th one is, it's the immune system, because the immune system can feed all of these. But if you don't get the digestion under control, the immune system is going to be constantly dealing with all these assaults coming in through the digestion, and so on and so forth. And blood sugar causes inflammation, and adrenals affect the immune system, and the metabolic rate, of course, affects all of it. And then next, then you can move on to the sex hormones. But my approach is such that once you get the other pieces in balance, oftentimes the symptoms related to sex hormones go away without even directly addressing them. And then I lump everything else together as organs. It could be the kidneys, the respiratory, the cardiovascular, your skin, the musculoskeletal system, because those are specific. And once you've got the core, the foundations handled, then you can go and deal with the organs specific. I would like to just say that sleep is super important in all of this, and all of the protocols that I work with to address digestion, blood sugar, adrenals, thyroid, immune system will take into account sleep. So sleep is an overarching kind of thing, and if somebody's not sleeping, all of this is going to go out of balance. So I hope you've enjoyed my functional hierarchy, and it's gotten you thinking about your approach to your clients. And I'll look forward to meeting you live on the webinar.